From deep inside the belly of Tim Hortons Field, underneath the stands, the Forge Audio Network presents The Captain's Log with Kyle Becker and Mitch Houlihan, presented by Bench Brewing.
All right, we're back. Season 1, Episode 5 of Captain's Log, brought to you by Bench Brewing. Bench Brewing, 3 in the front.
3 in the front.
Because what's 3 in the front all about?
What?
Friendship.
God, if Bench doesn't come out with a 3 in the front beer after this, we're giving him gold.
Yeah, we just got to separate it from the driving bit, but it's 3 in the front. You know, it's your buds.
The
beers. Back's open.
2 beers, 3 seats.
But it's 3 in the front.
Yeah.
No, you're connecting it to the driving.
Yeah, we're
That's
taking
what
it
we
away.
Can't do. Oh, yeah. Non-drivers, beers.
Yeah.
Driver, come
Yeah.
on. All right, Mitch Houlihan here with your Forge captain, Kyle Becker.
Hey.
How are you?
Not too bad. A little warm. Back under the stands.
Yeah, back under the stands after a sweaty Labor Day.
She was toasty.
The captain. I missed that part. Player number 10 in your program.
That's it.
On today's program, we're going to be talking a lot of Labor Day, a lot of sweat. We're going to be talking oysters. We're going to be talking camera guys. We're going to be talking Shinetti.
Yeah.
We're talking sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
We're talking
Freshco parking lot.
We're talking Freshco.
Yeah.
We're talking Dwayne Gretzky.
Yep. Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
And we're talking, lots of topics. We're going to get into a little bit of leadership today, too.
Leadership.
Because it's the captain's log.
That's what it's all about.
Talking leadership. But yeah, to kick things off, let's recap. We were just talking about Labor Day with the our guys here, Corey and Hawk, who were just... What did you just say your steps were at?
Like just under 30K.
30K for the day. This guy's zipping up and down the sidelines the whole time.
They were putting
One
in a
knee
shift.
on the kneel, too.
Yeah.
That's you got to get the low shot.
Low angle looks always better.
Low angle's always better.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the game.
Yeah, obviously the result was, we're just going to skip past that. Boys didn't get the result we wanted, but I would say it was just a great day at the donut box.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We started out unbelievable. Got there on time. I think that's made it to the tailgate on time.
Yeah.
I think that was a first.
It started out unbelievable for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were
Not the game.
we were always swimming upstream, showing up. Everyone always just, I think, assumes the worst of us, the boys.
Punctual.
Punctual group.
Freshco lot was popping.
Yeah, it was ramped. What's even the first one? The one you're pulling up on gauge, and that one was just absolutely ramped.
Trotters?
Is that what it is?
The towing place?
That place was ramped.
Rammed.
Yeah.
And that's what we were saying the whole time. How do we just get this excitement for a Forge match?
I think we just got to let them know that they're also allowed to tailgate.
Why can't we tailgate for Forge?
Dude, tailgating is universal to sports. It doesn't matter what the sport is. I think we're even saying we need to talk to the old higher ups, and one day we'll just do a fake out. We'll say it's a Ticat game. Tailgate's open at this time, and then they pull up and it's just a Forge game.
Yeah.
We'll just hit them with the old Kansas City shuffle.
Yeah, the old Cincinnati shuffle.
Why is it Cincinnati? It's Kansas City. Everyone knows that. What is that? Lucky number 11? The Kansas City shuffle?
Yeah. But I think they switched it up for that one. We're also talking cars for kids. Just for a second. That was pretty good. Shout out
Max.
Our guy Max.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Pull up to the game, pick up the tickets at the front, under the old name tag of Mitch Houlihan. Just that's cars for kids.
Son of a B.
You got ya.
You got me.
Yeah.
Glenn's predictions from last week.
Yeah.
We can say his name too. We don't just have to keep saying our friend.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big enough part of this for sure.
Yeah, he'll be on the pod one
The
day.
bench seat, the 3 in the front, that was Glenn.
Yeah, that was his beau dog.
So it's Glenn. Glenn. Glenn.
2N Glenn.
He was pretty spot on for the predictions, though.
Yeah, he was real close.
All we actually missed, because we said 6-point weekend, Forge and Ticats getting the win.
Yeah.
14 beers, 2 sausages, 1 flyover, 28-24.
Yeah.
The 28 was all we got wrong.
And
they got a lot more. And it went the other way.
Yeah.
There was a 24.
There was a couple. We could white out a few things and make some changes.
Yeah. But it was an electric
It was
game.
close.
It's a Labor Day's, yeah. It's a great experience.
Unreal. Good time.
Dwayne Gretzky. What do you
Yeah.
got on Dwayne?
Just give the people what they want.
I was looking at their website, and they it's actually the best description of this is what they say their thing is when you're flipping through the radio and just a big banger comes on,
Yeah.
which is every next song. It's like when you shuffle you shuffle the Cottage playlist,
Yeah.
and you get excited for every next song that comes on. So that's Dwayne.
Literally everyone in the crowd just goes, "Whoa!" The second the first song starts going. Every time they get fired up.
Yeah, yeah. So Dwayne was good. We
Yeah.
almost missed them.
Forgot.
Here's a question for you. That at halftime, we got there for halfway through.
Yeah.
Remember, we were inside.
Yeah.
So a question for you. I think everyone in the Caretakers Club was wondering. Is what were you chatting about with Johnny the Shucker when you single-handedly shoved 48 oysters down your gullet and no one else could have one?
I put an absolute dent in that oyster bar. They were just going down. It was unbelievable. But
Yeah.
he worked with Eamon at Rodney's Oysters.
Yeah.
And he's starting a restaurant up here in I can't really remember. I want to say it's either on James Street or just off Barton. It's one of the two. It's
in Hamilton.
Yeah. They're starting one out here, and so he was just chatting about that.
Alright,
And in COVID, I did a Zoomer with Eamon, and we got pretty
Oh,
banged
yeah,
up.
yeah.
And he it was
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
get a box of oysters, and he teaches you how to shuck them and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was paired up with a couple bottles of wine, and by the end of it, it was Kat's work party, and me and him just took it over, and we were both just littered, just chatted up. It was great.
Our guy hit you with one of the greatest reference chirps of all time.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle. The ocean called.
Hey, George. The ocean called. They're running out of shrimp.
That was unbelievable. Yeah, I even forgot about it. God, they were so good. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think they were a little PEI oyster. It's great.
Yeah. Let's go back to Vancouver game 2 for a bit.
Which part? The best fans in the
The
league?
fans, yeah.
I don't know if anyone's seen the broadcast, but they got 2 season ticket holders that have probably the greatest mullets ever. And they sit right behind the bench, and they are not afraid to laugh at themselves. They drop some of the best lines ever. So one of them is in a wheelchair, and there was not a lot of people at this game. There was not much of an atmosphere.
Yeah, I think they said 2,300.
And I
on
think
the
that's
broadcast.
pretty generous. But Abu went down in the first half, and all you hear is, "Hey, Sissoko, you want my chair?" Guy, I was dying. And then apparently I came off in the second half, and Dom was saying when he was warming up, the guy was offering $25 to teach Dom how to kick a ball. Dude, that's just some of the best banter of all time.
And then what was the other one you said? He was just chirping the jerseys.
Yeah, he just kept saying, he was like, "What are you guys? What are you, a Dutch team? You don't even have any Dutch players on your team." They just had some unbelievable Canadian accents. So
Yeah.
the hard R just made it way better.
After you told me that stuff, I love too, and you said at the end, they're like, "Hey, Becker, are you Dutch?" You're like, "Yeah."
It was so genuine. It was nice. We had a nice little moment.
Yeah.
I appreciated what they were doing.
After you told me that, Brianna's been to a game out there. So I asked her, and she's like, "Yeah, everyone just listens to those guys all game.
Yeah.
They're just, legends."
It started
Couple
raining,
mullet
and they
guys.
both popped their tops off, and they came right behind the bench, and were just giving it.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
Yeah. The ocean called.
Oh, yes! That's what I should have said! Damn it!
Do you have anything else for Labor Day?
I think we just need to shout out everyone who just works the stadium.
Yeah,
Just unbelievable people. It was awesome. They just took care of us. We were obviously down at field level for most of it. Popping around, went up to the club, But it's just a great organization. Everyone who was working it was having a time.
Yeah.
Great experience. I would say it's probably one of the better game day experiences. I think when you come to the old donut box, everyone's just pleasant, having a good time, wants you to have a good time.
It's just electric.
Yeah.
The parking lot was hot.
Steaming. If we didn't have that SPF 100,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this beautiful tan you guys see here in front of you.
Yeah,
I'd be
you were
burnt.
tarps off in the parking lot for a bit.
Yeah, it was sweltering.
Speaking of sweltering, how about Shinetti?
Yeah. Okay, what was he yeah. What we call him? Sweaty Shinetti?
Bold choice with the
linen
thick
suit.
linen suit.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Guy looked like he was going to a beach wedding, just ripping up and down the line.
First half, in the sun on that sideline,
Yeah.
just back sweats for days.
Also, give me a break with those shades.
With the shades?
Yeah.
Oh.
This guy thinks he's Top Gun.
I'm sure he's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm never saying he's a bad guy, but like, come on.
Yeah, he was looking serious. He was like
Yeah.
intense. Like,
Yeah. Game day, bro.
yeah. Game day shoes. Known for his Converse.
Really? That's
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
I got some questions.
Yeah. Friend of the pod. And shout out to our guys here, killing it.
Yeah.
Corey, Hawk. Saw them both. Hawkins was taking it seriously. Actually, I'm not even kidding. Corey, obviously,
Yeah.
consummate professional.
True pro.
Yeah, Hawkins came up, just a couple, hey, how are you?
Oh, all
He's
business.
like,
He
yeah,
didn't want. We kept trying to rope him over to the gate to have a good time, and he was like, "No, guys, come on."
Didn't give in.
Yeah,
Didn't give in to the peer pressure.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's just. I think that's a credit to his mentor from all that leadership. Oh, Corey Guns over here.
Yeah. It's a solid crew.
Leadership
learning-
podcast.
We're learning from them every day.
Everyone.
It is a leadership podcast.
Yep.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this too because my memory of us like growing up and playing like it's gone. Like I don't even remember playing growing up. Like we played for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, I was always the highest scoring. Okay, from 9 to 12, I think I was always number 2 to you in scoring.
Yeah.
I don't remember scoring one goal.
Why?
I don't know. They're just like they've been lost.
Did you not
maybe
like it?
Maybe we can. I don't know. They're just not in there anymore.
Do you remember when you played for a long time and you couldn't even see?
Oh yeah, that was when I was scoring my most goals.
That's the biggest anomaly in all of this.
Yeah.
Do you remember that tournament
Which one?
when we were playing a game and then came off field? My dad was like, "Guy, can you see the net from half?" And you're just like, "Nope." Got your eyes checked. This kid's blind as hell.
Yeah. I forced them to give me contacts
Yeah.
because I said if I have to wear sports goggles, I'm quitting.
I think that's a safe bet.
I made the good choice.
Yeah.
So now my eyes are just. All right. To my question.
Yeah.
Oh no, I want to bring this up first too. We'll get back to more 3 in the front stuff, bench
Yeah.
sheet stuff.
Yeah.
But do you remember when you'd always be sitting middle, and then we'd be at the red light, and you'd pop Glenn's shifter into neutral?
That's a classic joke.
Classic bit. And he'd get so mad, he'd just start punching you.
To be fair, I don't understand how he ever let us do it.
I don't know.
The amount of times that we'd be driving, I'd just crank the wheel a little bit. Shocking that we're here today.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the captain's log. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about like captains. We're gonna be talking leadership. But question for you. This is why I was trying to think back to some of that stuff. Like I remember you like just you were the captain of our team just because like you were the best. So like how you were a captain then, obviously, and then like college, and now being like what I think is an actual captain. Basically, what would you like if you had Kyle, like growing up Kyle, or college Kyle, or like early pro Kyle, like playing for you right now? What have you learned that you'd like, how would you captain yourself?
The hardest.
Is that a good question?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think the hardest one of those would have been like the early professional Kyle. I think all the other ones, like, I actually wasn't a captain at BC in college.
Oh no.
I think maybe like the last year I might have been like a 4th one, but it was just never me. So, then it was easy just because it was like I feel like I was generally just like hungry to kind of get to that like next level. So I was always just bought in training. Like training's just always been a thing that I enjoyed more than anything. So like that was never like a hard thing to get me motivated.
Yeah.
But I think we've touched on it in one of the earlier pods, the old body language. I think that would have been I would always be a hard one to get across. But the reality is like, I think for those who kind of get to know me, it's always kind of centered around myself. It's never like I'm not necessarily frustrated or mad with everyone else. It's like just playing to a higher standard, or I'm not meeting like the standard that I've set for myself. So like I'm mad at the pass that I made, or I'm mad at the just sort of like overall how either the session or the game's going. The big thing for me would just be kind of like pulling myself to the side and having like a chat and just being like, think bigger picture versus the short term. Because I think a lot of those guys who are quote unquote like bad body language guys, like is general frustration on like not getting the result that they want like immediately, and just start to think like bigger picture and like just set longer term goals for yourself. And then in terms of like how you're checking that in the interim, so like things you got to be doing daily and not necessarily focus on the result, but like the process of it, and just trusting that if you just stick with something for like a couple months at a time, inevitably it's going to kick in and you're going to see something, versus like if you go out and you're like, all right, everything is I'm going to go have the best training session ever, today's the day I figure it out, and then you make one shitty pass and it's like you just got too much pressure on yourself, so then you just get down and yeah. I think that's one that I struggled with early on in my professional career. So that's I was kind of like take that angle on it.
Yeah. Well, and like that's what we said, like when the CPL came around, you started playing for Forge, that was like the time when like I mean it was almost you bought in immediately, but it was like it's almost forced, and it's like something bigger than you. Like you're playing like to make the league better, to make the league work. Like to me, like from the outside looking, it's like that was the time when you could like stop actually thinking about yourself too.
Yeah. It was like in 2019, as you said, it's almost easier just because it's like, all right, if I'm going to be successful, and this is more so just speaking to like me as a player, like I'm not fast. I ain't dribbling everyone every single game. Like I simply cannot be successful if I try and play by myself. My whole thing is just like getting other people involved, and like the better we are, the better I will be. So like that was my main thing in 2019 was obviously it's going to be a young league. We're obviously going to have first year professionals. Like the whole thing, like in terms of how we do everything is not a finished product. So like sometimes showing up, maybe like things look a little different than they did if you're walking into a Montreal change room or a TFC change room or whatever it may be. So it's just like kind of changing the expectation there, and just being like, as long as we're all bought in and we're thinking towards like that end goal, like everything's going to be good. So it's just trying to make guys like a little bit more professional every single day, and also like staying true to who I am. Yeah. Because like if I was just walking to a room and every day I tried to do like a raw speech, I think everyone would be like, this guy needs to get the hell out of here. Like miss me with that. And just simply being like, I'm only coming at this from guys, I've made a ton of mistakes in my career, and like when I did stuff differently, I've had success, and like I'm not saying don't do it, but like when you do screw up or when you do kind of like fall on your face, like just learn from it and then fix it.
How do you think that like that as a whole, like imagine you came into the CPL as like a young kid, like that's why I think it's like a weird, not a weird sell, because it's like any team sport. Obviously you come together, everyone buys in, like it's just better, like you win, it's better. Yeah, but like because the league's young, it's like some people call it like purely developmental league. You know, like we like to picture it how it looks like in 20 years from now, but like what do you think, like if you're a young guy, or like to the young guys in the league now, like because a lot of it is between like personal, when people are saying it's a development league, like then you're always thinking like this is just for the next step. So it's like it's tough because you're like, how do you get it across that like doing stuff right here is what will actually not thinking about, which is kind of like anything, but like you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's all, like it's very easy for a young player to come in and be like, I'm just gonna skip ahead to where I'm going after I kill it with Forge. Let's just use that as an example. Like let's say I'm a young kid, I get signed by Forge, I'm 18 or 19 years old. I think it's very easy in your head to like look past the like this challenge and be like, I'm gonna walk through this because I was the best player on whatever team I was coming from. I'm signing a contract. I'm this young, so like I'm obviously good. I have potential, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kill it for a season, and I'm just gonna go somewhere in Europe, or I'm gonna go to the next level or whatever. And then you come into preseason and you might get like punched in the mouth a little bit, and it's hard to recover from that. And then I think it's like easy for people to just like, when you're that young, to kind of just like start doing like the old blame game. And I think it's natural as a young professional to do that. It's hard to have I would say like the maturity or the foresight to be like, all right, I'm going to look at myself first. I'm going to check all the boxes that I need to be doing every single day. And I'm going to kind of like take a log off and see how this goes, be a little patient. And like if I looked at myself, when I signed to TFC, 100% I was doing the same thing. You're like, all right, here's a team that at the time wasn't having the most success, but like, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to play, because why wouldn't I? I was picked a high up in the draft. They clearly want me. And so you just start looking too far ahead versus like, what is the immediate thing you need to be doing to ensure that you're getting that chance and keep going and keep going. Yeah. So I think that's a difficult thing. And then also when you're that young, you almost want to like justify stuff to other people. So you're like, no, it's development. Like you almost like talk down about it. But then if you're not having success, you're almost like talking about yourself. Yeah. So you're like putting yourself down. You don't necessarily have that confidence, and then you're not showing up every single day with that confidence. You're not playing with all of that that unfulfilled potential that everyone's been talking about. So I think it can get easily kind of get away from you.
But which is like, I'm like, it's next to like, there's not many people that can do it. It's impossible. Like
the hardest thing to
do. You're trying to, and it's sports too. Like you're trying to make your career happen. So like how,
but on the other, so this
20-year-old kid, you're not gonna be like, what I forget like how I'm playing. Like teams do. Like it's tough to be a real team guy when you're like you're just trying to make your career.
So then the funny thing is on the other side of that coin though. The beauty of the CPL is you get if you can come in and you, let's say either you have a good coach, good leaders within the group who can help you, and you can kind of have this foresight in yourself and just like get this attitude early and often, you can come in and you can learn how to be a professional. You can hone your craft. You can learn all of the habits that are like the intangibles at any level because you have the skills. So like the amount you're really going to like grow as a player in like that period of time, like you have your skill set. You're 18, 19, 20 years old. Like you're not necessarily going to change so much more stuff about it, but you're going to learn how to conduct yourself. You're going to learn how to show up every single day for the entire season. You're going to learn that you have to be relied on to get results and like be in that professional environment without like a crushing pressure from the outside. Like you can still then turn around and be like, all right, I'm going to go to a bar with my friends after a game, and you're not going to like get stopped at the door and everyone's going to know who you are. Like there's beauty in that. So like you can take the pressure away from yourself and you can literally just be like, all right, if I buy into this fully, you actually have such a chance, because then potentially like we have some guys on our team who are 20, 21 years old who've played 50 professional games. That's the intangible stuff that you need at that point in your career, because I would say obviously it's changing all of the time, but I think like something that is very difficult for young professionals, especially guys in the MLS in years past, you get that homegrown deal or whatever, that young kid, you come in from the academy, you get signed, and you go from a kid who is playing week in and week out at a very high level to now you're in the roster, you're not necessarily going to play. So all you're doing every single day is training. And again, we've spoken about this. The training is for the collective. It's for the group. It's for getting that 3 points on the weekend. Yeah. So all of that sharpness, all of that confidence you have can dwindle if you're not in and out, if you're not hitting the ground running. And that's just the harsh reality. It is what it is. That's not like a poor me or a boo-hoo situation. That's the reality. So
you can't fake game experience.
So then again, bringing it back to our group here, the beauty of a CPL is you have a smaller roster. And you look at our team, for example, we've used every single player on our team. So there's guys who have played in their very first year as a pro over 10 games. Yeah. That is like gold.
Like how long did it take you to go 50 games?
Honestly, I don't even know if I got it.
Did you even get 50 caps?
I don't even know if We have to.
I think he did.
We'd have to look at that one back. But
But
like
still, that's over like what,
4 years. 4 years.
4 years.
Like that's, and you're sitting there and you're like, dude, I've up until this point, I've been a guy who plays every single minute of every single game.
Yeah.
And now you're not doing it, and you're missing that little bit. And then, if you don't have the good mindset, you're always like, well, if I was playing every game, I would have done this. I would have done this. So then you're just like, that's an excuse to not do your work, not put the shift in. Now you're not staying fit. You're not eating right. You're not sleeping right. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not doing the extra stuff because it becomes this, you're pointing the finger thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if guys can take this chance and grasp it, like I think it can be the best. And it's one of those ones I've thought about it a lot. Like if what would I have been? What would my career have turned out to be if I started at this level?
Yeah.
At this time in my career where I just got games. Like was that what I needed? Or again, that's hindsight. It's a beautiful thing, but I don't know. It's there's an opportunity here that is truly special, and I think kids, and you're seeing guys throughout the league just grasp it, and they're doing unbelievable. And they might have gone from being an absolute nobody who would have been passed on to now they're household names in whatever community and whatever region they're playing in. So,
and that's like, I mean, the tricky part with that like development like label is that it is just a stepping stone. Where it like was something that like Eddie said before, was like, if Forge was here, I would have wanted to play for Forge. So then like that, like wanting to play for this team itself, playing for Forge versus like using it as a stepping stone and all that stuff he said, like the buying in, like why don't like TSN and Sportsnet just like at least throw in more CPL stuff just to like be there at the start for it to like, you know, in the future. But then like, and honestly, from some of the stuff you just said, I kind of changed my own like mind too, because it's like if you get guys in that like really buy into like the purpose of like the CPL and Forge, like that shows on the field. There's been some games, like there's games in the CPL when you can tell it's just like, what's going on here? Like this is not exciting. But then there's some that are electric. But like it's the like, to what Eddie said, the like wanting to play for Forge, like dying to play for Forge as a kid. And then like what you said, the buying in, like I think that makes the product that people will want to, you know, rather than just being like, we're a startup league, like why don't you just put us on? Well, because it's not as exciting as other stuff right now. That's fair. But like,
and I think
so
that's the
like,
responsibility the player needs to take on, because I think it's very easy for players to be like, oh, how are we supposed to play here? There's like our last game against Vancouver. You're walking out and it's like you can hear two people yelling. There's 2,000 people there. You're like, the atmosphere is not getting you fired up.
I mean, which is hilarious how your perspective changes too, because it's like 2 years before you're playing like rep. And there's like parents on the sidelines.
Honestly.
And then it's like, it was only 2,300. Not saying that anyone said that, but like you just obviously your perspective's going to change. Yeah,
I think it's the classic. You just want to like, you want to tell yourself that it's like maybe it's bigger than it is, or maybe it's whatever it may be. Like you justify things however you justify them, but like it goes back to the same thing I think we've said multiple times since we've started this. Like it's one of those ones where no one's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
And you look at that, and it's funny. I turned 33 this past weekend, and we were playing a game at Willoughby Park in Vancouver. There's no one there, and it was like, yep, I'm exactly where I should be. Like, this is the best. I'm playing a game. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Yeah. And I think if I'm being honest with myself, if I was 21 years old, I'd probably be like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
And 10 years, 12 years down the line, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Let's go have a game. And then you absolutely dismantle them 3-0. The boys are flying. And it's like you go into the little shoebox changer and you're like, this is sweet. Yeah. Get the tunes going. They're going to hear it. They're going to feel bad about themselves. What else do you want?
And that's like, I mean, that's just classic, maturing a little bit. But that's also, too, obviously, I know you've taken this on, too, is like trying to actually get that across to just everyone you talk about the CPL with, too. Like, you've been through that. How long have you been playing? How long has your career been?
Since 21. It's 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've had the 12 years. How do you pass that on? Anyways, we've already talked about that. You gave a great answer. I was like, honestly. And it's like, why should TSN put stuff on? You know, you already changed my mind on that. We'll make the product better. We'll get everyone excited here, you know?
Then, one thing I will say,
like,
though.
They can't not.
Yeah.
There's good enough highlights, obviously.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, though, and again, a lot of it is around there's, not to get into whatever the dispute is that's going on with the national team, the only thing you seem to hear with soccer in this country right now is negative, and then, like, you get, like, the highlight package, and it's like, it was a game that was 4-3, and it's like, let's jump to the fourth goal in the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like TSN loves doing that, or Sportsnet, whoever it may be. It's like, just throw the whole package in. It's crazy. A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Make it look, it looks better than what you guys are portraying it in. They put it in a bad light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we'll figure it out.
That's it. We'll force the hand.
Yeah.
It'll be so entertaining, they won't not be able to.
I mean, there's, like, coming into 2026, like, it's, like, we're going to be seeing this a lot more. Like, there's obviously going to be a lot more soccer going on. It's going to be on TV. Like, it has to be, it's going to be portrayed. They need to show it.
Yeah.
You got to start talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, everyone can just tune in to Captain's Log to hear about soccer in Canada. Who's the best leader you've ever played with? Who's a transformational leader who can really connect with everyone?
Best leader, I would say, honestly, like, the first name was just Atiba.
Yeah.
Just because of just, like, where we were as a national team at the time when I was getting the opportunity to play and I was going into camps, was like, just the point he was at in his career, the games, like, playing in Champions League year over year, the teams he's played against, and just how good and demanding he was in training was just unbelievable. And just, like, the way he carried himself was awesome. Like, it was, at that time, he could easily have just been like Billy big time and be like, screw this. Like, I'm Atiba Hutchinson. Why am I training at Sunrise Hotel in Florida? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But he would just show up every single day and just do the business. And, like, we would, same thing. And, like, you go out in training, and it didn't matter where it was, he would just, like, always demand the most.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. So, like, to see that guy who's playing Champions League week in and week out still just show up, and, like, no matter who he was playing with on his team, it was just like, all right, let's go. We're going to win.
Yeah.
He just had it. And so, like, from that, like, I would say, like, leadership in terms of, like, just being on the field, not necessarily like a big talker, wasn't giving, like, crazy speeches, just in terms of how to, like, conduct yourself in a training session, for sure.
Atiba. Yeah, Atiba just, like, I mean, some athletes, you just, like, even watching them, like, he's just, like, a demeanor guy, you know?
Yeah.
You talk about body language, you just like,
cool
tell
as a
this guy's,
cucumber
like, a guy.
He's playing in a game, and he's got, like, 4 people on him, and you don't pass it to him, and he's just screaming at it, because he's like, why wouldn't you give me the ball? Like, he just wants it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I think the ultimate, like, to sum up, like, his career, it's like the sports gods. Like, if you're a guy, you get the ending that's perfect. That, like, his PK, like, literally last touch of the ball was a PK goal.
Yeah.
And, like, before that, like, announced the retirement. Like, everyone in Turkey, he's such a legend in Turkey. And, like, you know, everyone's, like, giving him all the tributes that he should be getting. And then he's and also, like, the pressure of taking a PK for the last kick of your career.
Yeah.
You're not putting that in.
Kyle Becker, not a PK guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's a way to sum up your career.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding.
You're not a big prop guy, so this is something special.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But anyways, we got the answer to our question. How do we fill up the stands on the weekend?
Foam beards.
Free beards.
Yeah. Free beards for the first 2,000. First 2,000?
20,000.
20,000. First 20,000 in the stadium this weekend.
Filling it up.
Filling her up. What
Filling her up.
What is it? Is it Coach Bobby's 150th game?
There is a term for the 150 for
All
sure.
right. For Coach's 150 against none other than Old Calgary.
Oh,
Just beautiful.
speaking of haircuts, Tommy Wheeldon,
Yeah.
worst haircut in the league.
All right.
Just takes off his ball cap before every game. No, he's a good guy too. Yeah. What do we think about Tommy Wheeldon?
Not for me.
Consummate professional. Oh, I didn't think you were going to say that. All right, but yeah, bring the kids out this game. Big game too. Calgary,
Big game
huge game.
for the old.
I
for
mean,
the
I don't want
final
to put
push.
any undue pressure, but
No, there should be a lot of pressure on this game. We need 3 points if we want to think about still being able to finish at the top of the table.
Bobby's 150th.
Against Calgary. 7 p.m. at the box. First 2,000, getting some beards.
Yeah, 20,000. Calgary has a nice little like team identity. They're just the villains. They suck. They like, come on. They just
Yeah.
they like to, they'll play it up.
Yeah.
The crowds don't like them.
No, they don't.
Anyways, when's that game?
This Saturday, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. at the Donut Box.
You get a beard and you have some beers.
Oh, brought to you by Access Storage.
Right there.
Access Storage. The best storage in Hamilton. Maybe the country.
Possibly the world.
All right. That's it. You want to sign us off?
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Ep 5. See you guys next week.
This was The Captain's Log with Kyle Becker and Mitch Houlihan, presented by Bench Brewing. The guys will drop another episode sometime, whenever they get to it. In the meantime, we would love and appreciate for you to like, follow, subscribe, click on the little bell, do all the things in all the places you get entertained, and you'll find more of this type of content. And that also means we get to spend more time together on the Forge Audio Network.